guys, ILene Vick here for Teaching Adult Coloring with ILene Vick. It is Saturday, September 18th at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, and I'm live. All right. Good to see everybody as always. Come on in. Welcome to my Facebook people who come in and chat. Love it. Love to hear what's going on with you. Welcome to my Facebook lurkers who go in and watch but don't chat. That's okay too. As I always say, as long as you're learning something, we're good. Excuse me. And welcome to my YouTube viewers. Okay. So I've got several projects I've been working on. I've been having a lot of fun teaching you different methods. I was asked the other day to work on dark grayscale, very dark grayscale. So I am, and you guys seem to really be enjoying that. And I'm glad. I am glad. I am one happy little puppy. What can I say? All right. All right. Zoom in. Zoom out. All right, just checking the camera. Making sure we're good. We are good. Da-da-dum, da-dum. Okay. So let's get coloring. I don't really have any new messages. So I'm working on, as I mentioned, the puppy. I'm working on the vase for you. We've got our truck. And really, there's not too much more to go on this little guy. I hope you've been enjoying the process on this one. And we've got our wreath, of course. Now, I did a little more on my other side here with my reindeer. Wanted you to see that. I've got this outside ring done now. So the outside's the fantasy stuff, the ugly sweater stuff. And the inside stuff is the more reality. I put the little rhinestones on the Christmas tree. Zoom in. Zoom in. And then I put the rhinestones on to show snow falling. Hi, Rebecca. Zoom out. Zoom out. Now, the problem with doing something like this on back-to-back pages is that when you're coloring the other side, you're going to run into the little bumpies. I can feel the bumps. So if you color these like at different times, keep that in mind. Rebecca, good to see you. And welcome to everybody else who's coming in, especially my lurkers. Oh, and I can't forget my YouTube peeps. Hi, YouTube peeps. So this is coming along beautifully. I've got the bells and the ribbon to do, the blanket, the bow, the trees. I'm done. Oh, Rebecca says I have to leave in about 20 minutes to pick up my niece from work. I will try to come back when I get home. Okay. Would love to have you come back. You can check it out and see what we're up to. All right. So I think I'm going to, let's see. So last night I put the white out on the clouds. So I'm going to work on that a little bit. And then we'll decide from there what to work on, what I'm in the mood to do, and what you guys want me to look into. Okay. Hi, Rita. Rita from Guatemala. Rita, how are you feeling today? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and we'll get that sky done. And of course, the container I want is at the very bottom. Now, that's the negative statement. The positive statement is, I'm glad I have these containers in the first place to have to move them around. Oh, Rita, I'm glad you're doing better. Anything special happened today? Well, and I figured that was from you. I'm guessing. I'd like to thank whoever sent the group a $25 Amazon gift certificate. How neat is that? Anonymous, it said. I have a sneaking suspicion who it was. Rita, was that you? Oh, come on, fess up. Miracles happen. Thank you, Rita. It is so appreciated. Okay. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Anonymous. Now that's the kind of email I like to get. You're a doll, Rita. Thank you. Okay, so let's play. Let's color, let's play. Hello, Rhonda. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put together our sky. Rhonda, good to see you. So I'm going to put in, excuse me, a nice cheery sky here. And remember, zoom in, zoom in. Rita says every day better and getting stronger. Excellent. Remember, I colored over the white on the clouds because I didn't want that yucky line there. And that's why this is going to look a lot better. Okay, so I'm going to chalk up here. Not with that one. Oh, Rhonda says that Jenny loved the pictures. We're doing a color session tomorrow. Excellent. So, Rhonda, is Jenny getting excited now? More excited about coloring? Alright, so I'm going to plop down some blue here. And I want a very light blue. And what I want you to see now is, because I got rid of those ugly black lines around the clouds now, when I put my chalks in, it really makes some nice poofies. And just in case you didn't know, that is an official coloring term. I need to change that. We need to go a little quieter here. I want you to know the clouds, calling them poofies. That is an official term in coloring. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm taking my chalk and I'm taking my X-Acto knife and I'm shaving off on the edge here. And then I'm taking my little blender tool, which is my sponge tip applicator. Now, it doesn't matter whether you're using chalk or makeup. I highly, highly recommend these applicators. You cannot get as smooth as of an application with your finger. Okay, now I'm coming in with a lighter blue for a specific reason. Now, let's talk about this a minute. Okay, and Rhonda says a slice knife works too if you don't have an X-Acto knife. That's correct. And Slice is a brand name, just in case you didn't know. It has a ceramic blade. And it is really great. Well, hi, Ann. Good to see you. And don't forget, if you don't have chalk, eyeshadow, guys, eyeshadow. Okay, now, you always want to have, you don't want to have one color, right? we need to have our different shades. So I'm going to add just a little bit of a darker blue. And good to see you. And then we're going to get that subtle blue in there. Do you see that? Just a little bit. Now, if you want to add more, of course you can. Up to you. But I want you to see the amount that I'm putting in, and then you decide from that point on. Oh, how pretty is that? Zoom in. So let's take a look at that. Okay. So Anne says, for the past few weeks I've been watching from Alaska. We are home for now. Yay! Good to be home. And how was Alaska? Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and tidy up. Oh yeah, the black lines makes a huge difference. You get rid of those little puppies. So I'm just using my gummy eraser, and I'm just going to tidy up a little bit. Zoom out. Zoom out. Much better. Okay, now, I want you to remember that clouds are not all white, right? Say right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a teeny tiny bit, a very light smidgen of gray. And I'm just going to put in a little bit of color, not much. It's just a little dabble of gray. Zoom in. Zoom in. See that little dabble of gray by the silo? I mean, I just smudged in a little bit. And by doing that, you give your clouds definition. There you go. That's it. Let me go back here. I've got more of a horizontal line here. There, I want to round it just a little bit. Much better. Everybody see the difference there if I quit moving around on you. And that's all you need to do on your clouds, guys. White Arteza pen, blue sky, eyeshadow, or the Faber-Castell. And you're good to go. All right, let's see. Now, as I told you before, if this picture doesn't thrill you, that's fine. I want you to learn the techniques. And whatever method you use after that point, totally up to you. Now, this eyeshadow erases beautifully. No fuss, no muss. So we'll get that cleaned up. And I think we're good. Okay. Now, I want to go ahead and get that windmill done because we're losing it a little bit in the coloring here. Okay, and I just have a little teeny tiny more I want to erase here. Unlike the fairy I did for you, we don't want to see through veins. There we go. All right. So let's go ahead and get a little brown on that. I'm using my Autumnal Brown Bread Funner 52. Excuse me, 520. Zoom in. And again, notice that I am not filling in all the way. And I decided too that I want a little bit of contrast here. So I'm going to go ahead and use my black around this outside here. And we'll go ahead and do that on the center dot as well. And then I'm going to use my Master Color 4655. And I'm going to go ahead and blend up. It's a lighter color. It's a tan as opposed to brown. And I'm going to go ahead and use that to fill in and blend. So notice now how we've got different shades on this wood because I'm doing it this way. That's the point. Okay, Rebecca, thanks for dropping in. Bye, sweetie. Okay, now we've got to do the rest of this. So I'm going to use the Caramel Cafe on the rest of this. I want to use a different brown. And I'm going to do the same thing here, is I'm just not going to color all of it in. Now I want a darker brown behind that blade. So I'm going to use my reddish brown 039 by Shuttle Art. And we're going to go ahead and color in this portion here darker. And now we've got a really nice contrast there, which you can see. And I'm also going to take that dark brown and go ahead and put that on the inside of the wheel. Hopefully my ink is dry so I don't spread it. And then I'm going to keep with that darker brown and fill in below. And you can definitely see the difference now. Alright, now I notice here that I didn't quite get out to my edge. And if you go a little farther than what you intended, which I just did, balance it out all the way around. No biggie, just fix it. Okay, now the vein, we're going to go ahead and gussy that up a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and use an ink on that, and I'm going to use orange. So we'll just go ahead, because those are usually metal. So we'll get that little puppy done. Brighten that up. Okay, let's take a look at the overall. Zoom out. So I've got a little bit, let's see here, of brown in between. Clean it up. There we go. Now, the neat thing about eyeshadow too, or chalks on your sky is you can also use colored pencil with it. So, if you decide that you want to darken in an area a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of shading behind the windmill. Now, technically speaking, there wouldn't be any shadow there because the sky is like a bazillion miles away, right? But for the purposes of the art, I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit darker around here, and that's going to give us some really neat, what's the word I want? Not time. Well, contrast. Got a little blue spots on that. Let's see if I can get rid of that. And then fix it. There we go. Zoom out. I am very happy with that sky. And what I'm doing with the pencil, and I want to show you this and tell you about this. What I'm doing with the pencil, I actually did with the eyeshadow, the darker shade. So you can add a darker shade onto your blue with pencil or with different chalk color. Up to you. Just make sure that you get very blendy with it and you blend in that color. La da 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 da. Alright, hold on, let me do something here. So since I added pencil now to my chalks, we need to go ahead and blend in any of those edges that popped up. There you go. So I think we're in pretty good shape. Zoom out. And I love, love, love this sky. Look how delicate everything looks now with those clouds instead of those wonky dark lines. And don't forget your gray on the clouds, guys. Makes a difference. All right. So just for the purpose now of, working this down, I'm going to work on the trees a little bit. I'm not going to spend a whole heck of a lot of time on this piece unless you want me to, up to you. So let's go ahead and pull some really nice greens here. Let's see here. Da-dum. So I've got my, let's see, it's my medium, I've got my light, my medium, and dark. I may not use all three, but I've got them on hand. So does that mean I'm handy? You guys can tell what kind of mood I'm in tonight. Watch out. Okay, my light is my Kelly Green Brett Funner. Oh, Anne says, wow, like the sky and the clouds. Never would have thought to do it that way. Thanks, ILene. You're welcome. My pleasure. Zoom in. Looks a heck of a lot better, doesn't it? Kelly Green Brett Funner. And a medium green Brett Funner. Those are both from the 520. And I have a forest green from Shuttle Art. .011. I'll tell you what, it makes a lot better sky, doesn't it? Okay. And just in case you guys weren't here, we received an anonymous donation of $25 to Amazon. Thank you so much. So I'm just tidying up my greenery here. And like I said, I'm not going to do a whole heck of a lot, but I just want to get enough done that we really see this thing coming together. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start with my dark green. Zoom in. And that is not my dark green, that's my light green. Ha. Let's try that again. Okay. Dark green. Oh yes, I passed kindergarten, guys, I did. So we're going to go ahead and do the dark, and that dark is going to be tending to be at the base of things, right? And I'm going to go ahead and do my little tree patches in the dark. Now, I'll show you on this one segment what I'm doing, and then we can go from there. So then I'm going to go ahead and do put some light in there, light green. And then I'm going to come back with my medium green. And put that in the center. Now, the reason that I'm talking about this, the light, the medium, and the dark, is I want you to, by using these different values of your pencil, you're going to get a lot better look on this. And then I'm just going to softly blend over the whole thing. if you want, you can come back, and I see this is where you're, you know, playing around, shading comes in, you come back with your dark green, and putter around with it. Alright, let's take a look at that. Zoom out. In relation to everything else. Isn't that pretty? Now, don't get hung up on this and say, oh my gosh, where should I, you know, put my dark? Where should I put my light? What order? As you get comfortable with what I'm showing you, you'll start to work it yourself. So my darks are where my perceived shadows are. Zoom in. Zoom in. Oops, we got to get in between our fence here. There we go. Okay, then I'm going to pop over to, now, my light. I've got one little area that I missed here. And again, I mean, I've said this before, Rhonda said that she is to the point that she, when she goes to color something, she always picks up 3 shades. Now, whether you use them or not, we'll see. Sometimes you may only use 2. But you gotta quit coming in with this monotone coloring, okay? Okay, and I've left some gaps. And now I'm going to come in with my light. And again, I'm more concerned about the mix of your colors than I am per se. I'm talking about these specific trees, is don't get hung up on where to put your colors. Now, I did define where the darks went. That's where the lines are. But now we've got our medium and our light now that we can play with. Oh, how pretty is that? And notice how I'm going right over the dark, which is fine. Make sure you get to your edges. Whoops. Don't go over them like I just did. Alright, tidy that up. And then if you have a couple gaps, you know, go ahead and just get those little puppies out of there. I'm using circular motion. But what I really want you to notice is I'm going right over my dark spots, and I am what's the B word? Somebody tell me what the B word is. I'm doing it right now. Don't be afraid to go over your previous blending. That's right. You guys are going to hear that word in your sleep, aren't you? Oh man, this is really coming together now. And as Sherry said, no panty lines, right? Oh, that just cracked me up last night when she said that. No panty lines. Blend, blend, blend. Smooth. Okay. All right. Now, in this case, when I'm putting in my darker areas, don't press hard, guys. Because ultimately, we've got to blend it, right? We've talked a lot about that. Don't shove your pencils into the paper. Rhonda, remind me, when does your granddaughter get her picture? I'm thinking of what, the 26th, 28th? With the girl that's baking, your baking girl? Okay. '25th, Saturday. A week from tonight. Okay. Now, I've also got some green hedges here. So we'll go ahead and put that stuff in too as well. Now, if you want to use a different shade of green on your tricolors, that's fine. I'm just going to go ahead and use my same greens. And the reason that I'm doing that is we have got so many colors in here that I don't want to get too enthusiastic with my different shades. Now, what I want you to see, however, we've got different colors here for our hedges, and we've got grass over here. So we'll do a different color with that, of course. Let's see here. Now, this is grass down here. I'm going to treat it as grass. This up here is more my hedgy type. So right now I'm still going through with my dark color on all my areas here. I just wanted to define where everything was and is. So now I'm going to come back with my light. And notice that I'm not coloring all my areas in. Why? Because I've got my medium yet. Now, your question may come up, well, where do I put these colors? How do I know? Honestly, in this situation, it doesn't really matter because we've got our hedges and they're just, everything's blending together. So I'm more interested in the different shades of color than I am in the placement per se. I've already put my darker colors in to define my boundaries. And now I'm just going in and adding my different shades of green to give it interest. Okay, so that's my light. And now I'm going to come back now with my medium. And finish up. Now guys, this is not redundant at all. These shades of green that you're putting in, this is what makes your piece look really cool, because you've got these different shades. Okay, let me pull over here. So these subtle colors that you're putting in that may not necessarily be visual to, or not necessarily seeable to you, trust me, your brain's seeing it. And if you've only used one or two colors in your bushes, and I've used these three, if we were to put our pieces side by side, for some reason, people would be saying, would be liking my piece better, and they couldn't really tell you why. All right, let's take a quick look at this. Zoom out. Does that make sense, guys? I noticed a little swirl here that I had. Let me blend that in. All these subtle little colors and shades, shading and stuff that you put in, it's going to make the difference. I need to get a little water, excuse me. Okay. Zoom in. Zoom in. Zoom in. So now I'm filling in here with my light. Don't have a lot of space, that's okay. And then I'm going to come back in with my medium color and just add that little extra oomph. So if you want a richer looking piece, this is what you want to be doing. Let me erase my little oopsie. And now down to my last place here, I've got my dark. We'll pop in my light at various spots. And smush them all together. And then I'll come back in with my medium. And finish that off. How pretty is that? Okay. Oh man, beautiful. Zoom out. Not bad. Zoom out. All right. Now, I think get something here. I think that we've got a lake in the background here. I do. So I'm going to go ahead and treat it as such. Zoom in. Zoom in. So I'm going to take my tan mint marker after I do a little bit of cleanup here, and I am going to make a lake. These are my water-based markers. I don't want to go with alcohol. We're just going to do a very light blue. And remember, if your marker leaves a little wet spot when you pick it up, just take your finger and press on it once. And then I'm going to take a blarker, a darker blue marker, and I'm going to use my fine point, and I'm going to go ahead and outline around the lake, and I'm also going to just smear that gently with my finger. See how I'm doing that? Nothing special. And noticing that I'm placing a little extra emphasis on the borders here. Oh, how pretty is that? Zoom out. And if you've got a little streak that you don't like, just go ahead and I'm using my Faber-Castell ivory, and I'm just going to gently blend that down a little bit. Zoom in. cool is that? Okay. So one more aspect to this here, I'm going to go ahead and color in the grass. I want it different from the hedges here. Let's see what we got. La, da, da. All right, tidy up just a little bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm using my Absinthe, A-B-S-I-N-T-H-E green, which is an Arteza Expert. The color is A099. And I'm going to color now what I perceive is basically more the grass lawn type thing. Okay, now I'm going to layer that because right now that looks a little bright. But again, I just want to establish where my areas are, my specific areas. And right now I'm establishing basically the yard. So we'll go ahead and get that green in there. And one more area here on my lighter green here. Oh, I lied. One more after that. Hold on. At least on this side here. Oh, how pretty, how pretty, how pretty. Okay, so let me zip over now to the other side here, because we've got some yard going on this side, and I've got a little hedge there. And guys, this is where it gets very helpful just to establish your base colors so that you know what's going on. La, da, 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 da. Let me go ahead and color in this hedge I missed earlier. There we go. Now, sometimes what I'll do if I can't see a color is I'll just go ahead and I'll put like a little dashed line on there like that. And that way I know where my in-between stuff is. So I'm just marking my areas where I think my green should go. Now we got to be careful here on this driveway because this driveway is probably in this area right here. So I'll do my last green right there maybe. Yeah. Okay, slide back up. La-da-da. And I'm sorry I slid off camera again. It happens once in a while. Oh, how pretty, how pretty, how pretty. I really want you guys to see how beautifully this is coming together. And this is why I don't ever, ever, ever want to see you get discouraged when you're midway through something. Until you start seeing the whole picture, pun intended, you're not going to be able to get a good grasp about what's going on. Okay. Zoom out. Let's take a look. Zoom out. Okay, so I've got my lighter green now, for my grass. Oh, and I've got a little spot down here that I just noticed too. So I'm going to go ahead and color this green because we've got the edge of the driveway. Zoom in. And I missed a leaf earlier. I'll go ahead and fix that later. So this is where you need to decide where your driveway is if you're doing this particular piece, and how far it comes over. And I think that should be a purple part of my flower here. Okay, so we've got a curved driveway that's going around here, and that's why I needed to make these areas here green. And I just wanted to hit that purple, make that flower purple right there, so that's what I did there. All right, zoom out, zoom out, zoom out. So now on my grass, now I'm not going to do all of the grass tonight, but I just want to show you this now. Is I'm going back with my online lime, whatever that means, Brett Funner 52, and I'm going to start shading. This is a dark green, and I'm going to start shading over my grass green. Zoom in. Zoom in, zoom in. Rita, September 25th is Rhonda Green's granddaughter's birthday, and that's when she's going to be getting that picture that Rhonda's been working on of the girl in the kitchen. So Rhonda's got that framed now. Okay, see how I'm streaking this grass with the darker green? So I'm shading a little bit by the pumpkins. I'm shading next to my trees. And then I'm shading where my lines are from the artist. Okay, so the darker green here by the tree. And mostly on my edges. And look how pretty that's coming out. So lower right hand corner here where I missed my green before, I'm going to pop in a little bit of extra green shading. Details, guys, details. And actually, I am going to go ahead and take the 2 seconds, because this doesn't take long at all now. So I'm going to put my darker green near my edges. Look how pretty that looks. Now, don't get wild with it, all right? You want to color with a purpose. Oh, missed a little bit by the stem here. And then I'm going to go through here. And darken up by the fence post, and I'm also darkening where the author put in their lines. Now, I'm starting to get that waxy buildup, which I absolutely expected. But that's fine, because I've already got my second color here that I've put down. And I'm really happy with my overall shading. Zoom out. Pretty cool. Looks like I missed a little bit of the barn right here. I'll take care of that later. Alright. Let's take a look at this now, overall. Zoom out. I think we're in pretty good shape with this. Questions, comments? Okay. I think I'm done with this for this evening. I think we got a pretty good looking piece. And I really hope that you can see how beautifully all this now is coming into focus. You just need to be patient. You just need to work on your areas. For example, on this truck, that was my centerpiece, so I started on that first, and that dictates everything else that goes on around it. All right. Let me pull another project here for you. Give me 2 seconds while I put my chalks and my eyeshadows away. All right. So I think I'm going to work on my puppy tonight. Now you guys saw this jug that I did last night for you. I think it's turning out well, and you guys are learning that you absolutely can and do color over black in order to get your colors going on your grayscale. Now, unfortunately, I managed to put away my pencils, but I'll pull them out or pull out similar ones, and that shouldn't be an issue. So let's go ahead and get some of this coloring. I'm feeling like doing puppy tonight. And I hope that you've been enjoying this project as well. All right, let's play again. So I'm going to pull a light, medium, and dark for my leaves. I'm just going to start working on these here. Let me get a fresh piece of scratch paper here. Now, I happen to like the light and medium and dark that I pulled for my previous piece, so I'm going to use those. I think that'll be cool. There we go. So my dark is my shuttle art, and that color is 011. And I'm going to start working on these leaves. Zoom in. zoom in. All right. So I'm putting in my dark first. And that'll start defining my leaf. And remember, you're turning your pencils to keep them sharp. You're not digging your point into your paper. And when you put your colors down, because you're not digging your point into the paper, it'll make them nice and blendable. So there's my dark. This is a real easy one. Here's my light. And then I'm going to color over my medium. And notice how I'm using this medium pencil to go ahead and blend all this. So we're getting a nice subtle shade of everything. All right. And then I'm just, you get that waxy sheen on top, so I'm just going to go ahead and plop my finger on there and just blend, just smooth it out. There we go. Pretty. Pretty, pretty, pretty. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and work on these other leaves. And we can play with the light and the dark now on this, and by that I mean the overall coloring. So I've made that one green leaf, and now what I'm going to do is go in, and this is my Brett Funner Autumnal, A-U-T-U-M-N-A-L, which is my dark. And I'm going to contrast that green now with brown leaves. So there's my dark. And then on my light, now we don't have a lot of light spots on here. It's mostly mediums. So I'm just going to touch that up just a little bit. Why? Just like I did with the grass. I want that extra coloring in there. Hello, Melissa. Melissa has entered the room. So now I'm going to use my medium on the rest of this. Notice I'm also blending over my dark. I'm glad you made it in, Melissa. What held you up? Just stuff you had to do tonight? Okay. Alright. And I have a little bit of an oopsie here, so I'm going to go ahead and wipe that out. There we go. Okay, just want to make sure you're okay. Now I'm going to change up my color a little bit on my leaves. So let me show you these now. And this is my reddish brown 039 shuttle art. So we're going to go a little bit, and again, notice that I'm working with the red color now, different colors from my other leaf. Now be careful when you're doing leaf bunches like this. You tend to carry over the same colors to everything, especially when they're grouped like this. But I wanted to have something a little bit different than the one below. Okay, so there is my dark. And I'm going to do a light here, which is my Master 4655. Okay, well, Melissa, you said, yeah, I'm fine though, so, okay. That makes me wonder. But I'm glad that you're okay. So there's my light. And then I'm going to pull in my medium. And this one is a Prismacolor Terracotta 944. Now, it's a very rich color. So I'm not pressing very hard at all with this. I'm just really butterfly touch on this one. Now normally I would be blending with my medium color, but because of the richness of this Prismacolor and it's pretty soft, I'm not going to do that. Now this is where you can bring in, if you want your ivory from your Faber-Castell. I've been showing you that. Or I'm now going to go back with my light pencil and blend over that Prismacolor. And then I do one last push with my finger. I just like to do that. It gets that waxy sheen off, and it gives me that last final blend. Now, we've got a little bit of a shadow right here, and I'm going to play that up. So I'm using my darker color at the base. See how I'm getting that little star pattern there? And I've also got a light portion here. Oh, Rhonda got her Ivory 103 today. Yay! I wish mine would show up. So now I'm using my light pencil here just to highlight that vein that's right up in here. And highlight some of the areas in between my dark. Again, guys, very light touch with this. All right, let me show you on the next leaf. Look how beautiful that looks, guys. Pattern and depth. Okay. Well, you treat that Ivory 103 well. Okay, pulling in my dark. I'll tell you what, guys, the results of grayscale are just so beautiful. This is why I don't want you to be afraid of it. And we'll get a little dark shading right there. Zoom in. And then I'm going to pull my light. And look how those medium spots now show up beautifully. You do your dark, you do your light, and that medium just pops right up there. But again, what do I always tell you on grayscale? Don't go brain dead with it. You can adjust a little bit if you want. Okay, medium, Prismacolor, soft. So I'm just gently gliding over the page. On a scale from 1 to 10, I'm probably pressing maybe a 2. So tell me, Rhonda, did you ever in your life think that you'd be excited about receiving a pencil in the mail? Alright. I accidentally wiped my dark spot, so I'm going to just go back and get that little puppy back. So if I told you 6 months ago, called you up and said, Rhonda, you're going to be excited about getting a pencil. Okay, now, so I'm coming back with my lightest shade. Pressure about maybe a 1 or 2 again. And I'm blending in now that medium brown. And then, like I said, I like to rub it once with my finger just to bring everything together. Now, this vein here is sticking out a little more than I want. So I'm going to go ahead and tone that down. Slightly harder pressure. Brush that little puppy. And I'm going to go back with my dark here, and I'm going to make sure I'm all the way out to my edges. Don't leave fuzzy edges. And you get fuzzy edges when you don't quite get everything, your pencil out there, and so that gray is sitting out there. And then just go back and adjust and blend with your lightest pencil. And we've got ourselves another beautiful leaf. Now, I want to make an important point here. You're seeing me adjust going back and forth a lot with my pencils. And you may say, oh my gosh, how would I ever know to do that? As you get better at coloring, your eye is going to start to discern these colors that you want. And you'll know how to get them. For example, I'm going to pop on a little bit of white, not ivory, but white, because I want to pick up a couple of light areas in my leaf. And see, this is just the tweaking stuff that you'll do. Play with it, guys. Make it your own. Okay. Zoom out. Let's take a look at that. Zoom out. Zoom out. And I'm going to get some water. You like it? Zoom in. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and do this third leaf the same way. And we tend to look at things in groups of threes. There's a huge psychology behind that. So I'm going to go ahead and keep going with that. Zoom in. And here we go. This has a really nice pattern on it. Here's my dark. And see, you can already see now where I've got the dark and then the medium and then the light on that. So this is a real, you know how every once in a while you see a leaf that's got that dimension on it? And this one absolutely does. Look how cool that looks. So that's my dark. And my light here is right in the center. And I want you to keep in mind, guys, that this is the coloring you should be doing on your line art. That when you color a leaf, you should think, okay, light, medium, dark, like on grayscale, where do I want to go ahead and enhance those colors? This is why I want you to learn grayscale. Okay, medium color. Oh, how pretty is that? And now I'm going to come in, I'm going to go back to my light color, and now I'm going to gently blend this in. And I want you to see now how soft that gets. A lot of people think if you layer colors that you're going to lose the color that you put on previously. And that's not necessarily true, guys. It really isn't. Colored pencils layer beautifully, so just because I'm coming back now with my light color on top of my previous two colors, those two previous two colors are not going away. They're just being lightened. And I really need you to understand that so that you don't hesitate to do this. And if you're new at grayscale, just follow what I'm telling you verbatim. Your light, your dark, your medium, and then as you start to do that, you'll start developing your own technique to do this. Be sure you get your edges sharp and well defined. All right, let's take a look. Zoom out. Zoom out. And I know this may look a little wonky to you because it's close up, but that's how I teach, is close up. Zoom out. Stephanie! 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 Isn't that beautiful? And then as you start getting an eye for this, so now I'm going to take my white, not my ivory, and I'm going to go ahead and highlight a couple areas. Now remember, at some point you've got to not keep going because your colors are going to get mushy, and what that means is everything just runs and smears together. But look how pretty these three leaves are. I love it. Stephanie, have you been behaving? Okay, we've got another apple right here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Anybody have any questions or comments about the methods that I'm using? Okay. And as far as the order of using the dark and medium and light, you know, like I said, dark, I've been doing light and medium. You don't have to do it that way. Some people like to do their light first. But what I want you to do is if you are new to grayscale, I want you to follow what I'm teaching you. Get the general idea what's going on, and then go ahead and adjust it to how it works for you. Does that make sense? Zoom in. Zoom in. Okay, so the dark, I'm going to use the Zenicolor Rose. So we've just got a little bit of apple. Oh, my point, look at that. Don't you hate that when that happens? Oh no, it died. Well, doggone it. Okay, let's try this again. My dark Zenicolor 2 Rose. See if it works. Now, it's a little bit hard to tell what's what on this apple, this second apple here. So, two things, I'm using different shades from this first one here. And I'm really depending now on the printing of the book as to what my dark and mediums and lights are. So this apparently here is the bottom of the apple. Here's my light portion here. And then I'm going to go in with my, I'm sorry, and my light is a Brett Funner 520 set orange. It says orange.com. It really does. Isn't that wild? Look at that. And now I'm going to put my medium in here. And this is my Carmine Red from Arteza, color number A049. But again, guys, don't get hung up on brand, because I store my pencils by color. So for example, I don't say, okay, today I'm going to pull out a Prismacolor, yada yada yada. Okay, now because I've got such a small area, I'm going to very lightly use my blender pencil. Okay, now we've got a teeny tiny apple here. And so I'm going to go back with my dark. And I'm going to emphasize now it right up against the border of my previous apple, because I don't want the two to blend together. And I'm also going to, along those lines, along those lines. I'm going to take my Arteza Storm Gray 151 and I'm going to shade in that area on the bottom very, very lightly, guys. And then I'm just going to lightly tap it with my blender pencil, just enough to get that blending in. Some people like to come in gangbusters with their Prismacolor blending pencil. Don't do that, please. Alright, I still want that a little smoother, so now I'm going to take my Ivory 103 here. And go over the top of this. And again, it doesn't disturb the colors below. This ivory works out beautifully with them. Okay. And I've got a little bit of a rim on this apple that I'm not thrilled with, so we're going to blend that in a little more. And this is my tweaking. And then I'm going to, if I find it, lighter scene. What did I do? There we go. I really want to distinguish this apple here, the second one. And now I'm going to take my Mono Zero eraser and I'm going to put my streaks in it. And that definitely establishes the direction of this apple. Now, if your streak gets too wide, just close it down a little bit with your pencil. But I just wanted a little bit of highlight on there just to keep that, so you know that the apple's going, curving to the up and to the left. Zoom out. Zoom out. Now, I don't want you to take all my chatter about this as being complex. It's not. It really isn't. Okay, just darken a little more here. Oh, love it. Zoom out. Zoom out. I like to explain in detail what I'm doing, and I don't want you to think that just because I'm explaining in detail that this is a complex process. It's not. It really isn't. I just want to explain the ins and outs of this for you. Alright, let me grab some water. Now, if you wanted to, and this is where I'm a little more in the tweaking stage, you can take your Arteza Gray, this Storm Gray, and go ahead and add, zoom in, a little bit of shadow and shading on the veins. And again, hardly touching the paper, guys. Let your pencils do the work. Look how beautiful that is. And look at the definition now of the creases in the leaves that you're getting by following those veins lightly. Quit jamming your pencils into the paper, guys. That's what a lot of you are doing. And you're taking away the subtleties of the beautiful coloring that you can do. So I politely say, knock it off. It's the repetitive strokes of your pencil that make your darker shades, not you shoving your tip into the paper. There you go. All right, I'm done playing with that. And look how richer those leaves look because I added this gray. Just a little bit. Okay. I'm going to work on this sunflower because I want to show you the contrast now that we're doing. Oh, this piece is pretty. Hey, Wanda. I assumed that you were out tonight. Music, dancing, something? Okay. Working late tonight? No, you don't work tonight, do you? Oh, working on research. Okay. All right. So I'm going to do a pretty sunflower. I have a bright yellow to start, and then I'm going to work on my mediums. On my medium golds. Okay. So, pulling my pencils, my light, my medium, my dark. For my dark pencil, Melissa, what do you think of this? My dark pencil is my Master 4655. Zoom in. And we're going to go ahead and get that brown in there. And if you were paying attention to the pencils that I was using earlier, this 4655 was my lightest color on my leaves. So here are my dark, And then I'm going to go with my... Melissa says she's coloring hay bales and pumpkins. Woohoo! I've got Prismacolor PC 915. Lemon yellow. Lemon yellow. Now, all sorts of neat things are happening with this because I've got a little bit of yellow in that apple, and in putting this yellow like this in the sunflower, that's making that apple look really cool. And now I'm going to use my medium. Rhonda's coloring the pumpkin and the mice. Yeah, Tatiana Stilova. That is a cool picture. Okay, medium color. Zoom in. Oh, how pretty that's looking already. How pretty is that? Now, in this case, I'm taking my brighter yellow. I'm sorry, my medium color, excuse me. And I'm being pretty liberal with it on this flower. And then I'm coming back now with my yellow, because I'm going to go ahead and brighten that up a little bit. Oh, love this. And the gold here. And how pretty is that? Zoom out. Now for the center, I'm going to go ahead and use a dark brown and then a slightly lighter brown. Zoom in. zoom in. So the darker brown is my reddish brown 039 by Shuttle Art. Now I want you to notice on here, I've got my edges darker, but I'm also bringing down that brown just a little bit because I want that pattern inside the flower head. So in other words, I'm not just going to make a round circle on here. Add these extra touches, guys. And then I'm going to come in now with a lighter brown. Which is, again, my Master 4655, which is what I just used on the flower itself. But because of the gray that's on this flower head, it's going to come in looking differently. Isn't that pretty? Wanda says I should check out the color Anise Flower from the Brett's 520. Okay. Thanks, Rhonda. Okay, and now I'm going to use my Storm Gray to the center of the flower. And this is one of the rare times that you're going to see me use just one or two pencils. I mean, this center is dark and that's it. Notice that I'm making the edges rough. I'm, again, not just making a circle. And then I'm going to come in with what? What makes black look really good, guys? I'm going to come in with, let's see what we got here. My dark blue, which is called Sky Diver Brett 520. Rhonda just said it, dark blue. How cool is that? And if you need to go back, with your black, or in this case I've got Storm Gray, which is pretty dark, you can do that. Okay. Brush. Zoom out. Zoom out. Too stinking cute. Zoom out. Now, if you want to brighten up your yellow a little bit, Helen likes to do this, Rhonda likes to do this, is you take your Sharpie or whatever highlighter, yellow, zoom in, zoom in, zoom in, zoom in. Is I'm going to take my highlighter and I'm going to touch it up on my yellow. Too bad Helen isn't here tonight. She always wants me to do this. Zoom out. And then for that matter, if you want to brighten up your apple just a little bit, now be careful. You can go ahead and pop in a little bit of that yellow from that highlighter with that as well. Oh, how pretty. Zoom out. Alrighty then. We're making good progress on this. Alright, let's see what we got here. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and do the collar now. Let's see what we can do with that. What kind of trouble we can get into. Zoom in. Zoom in. Now, we don't have too much color on here, but we do have enough that we can go ahead and make something neat out of it. So I am going to clean this off because we got a lot of the gold on here. And again, be careful on your grayscale when you do it, because some books that gray will erase right with it. Alright. So we've got our dark spots in here. and then pop in with the light. And then I'll come in with my medium. And I'm going over my dark blue to blend that in, making sure that that's pretty soft looking. Check that out. Isn't that pretty? And I'm just going to go back over my light again because I lost a little bit of it. There we go. Too cute. Okay, so the little tag I'm going to do, let's see what we can do with that. I'm going to go with a neutral color because we never really established if this puppy was a little boy or a little girl. Which really is neither here nor there. So here's my dark green on the inside because we want to give that depth. And then I'll go with my light and touch my light parts. And I'm sorry, that dark green was my Shuttle Art Forest Green 011. My light green is my Absinthe Green, ABSINTH Green, Arteza. And then my medium green. Will pop in there. Well, thank you, Wanda. Glad you like it. Now, I'm going to come in with my Storm Gray again. Let's see here. Zoom in. Okay, I need to cut that music because Facebook's griping at me about it. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm taking my Storm Gray and I'm going to shadow inside, and that's going to make the outside, of course, stick out more. Isn't that pretty? And this is really going to make sense when I pull out, guys. So I've got the inside of that collar dark, especially now this rim. See that? And then I'm going to take my white pencil, not my ivory, and I'm going to lighten around this outside, and that's really going to make this come out. All right, zoom out, zoom out, zoom out. Isn't that cute as a button? And if you need to round your outside a little bit, go ahead and do that. And notice now when I do that, when I outlined that outside and made that darker, I used my forest green. Zoom in. So now my outside, which is darkest, look how that popped out that rim. Isn't that cute? Beautiful. Zoom out. Gosh, my birds sound lonely. So now you're just stuck with me. All right, questions or comments about the dimensional effect now of that tag. Now, I've got that little clip on there too. So you know me, details, 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 right? Zoom in, zoom in, zoom in. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll put my yellow on here. And then I'm going to put a little bit of brown. And I'll go ahead and put that yellow back on top of it. And everybody see that little white spot that I have to the left? That is a great little shine point. And I really want to hold on to that because I think it looks good. So I'll take my Arteza pen. Hold on, I gotta clunk it here. Let's see. And I'm gonna put in just a teeny tiny dot dash of white. And for that matter, if you really wanted to be special about it, we could go ahead and put a shine point on the tag as well. Just a little bit. Zoom out. Zoom out. Zoom out. Good night, Miss Melissa. I'll be out of here in about 15 minutes, sweetie. I'm so glad you made it tonight. Okay. I think we're in pretty good shape with this puppy, pun intended. Questions, 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 anybody? All right. Got a few more minutes yet. And I'm going to attack these berries on the left. So I'm going to pull my colors, my light, my medium, and my dark. La, da, da. Give me 2 seconds here. La, da, 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 dum, dum. All right. Zoom in. Zoom in. So I'm going to concentrate on these 3 that are at the top here. So this is my Prismacolor Crimson Lake. It's a pretty dark red. Now, if you can't see all the red spots on something that you're coloring, dark spots on something that you're coloring, don't fuss about that. You know where your darker areas are on your outsides, right? And this is where you take your artistic sense and do it. Okay, my light is my orange.com from Brett Funner. And then my medium color is my Arteza Carmine Red. Isn't that pretty? Now these puppies are pretty small. Let's see. I had a little knobby on this one. So I'm going to go ahead and get my dark here, and I'm going to make my knobby on the other 2. Just a little bit. And let me go ahead and finish these so you can see them as a set. We got time. So dark areas here. Unbelievable, my Prismacolor is breaking again. Look at that. Look at that. Hello, Roberta Carswell. Welcome. Welcome to our group, young lady. Okay. Roberta, I'm working on Color Sweet Animals by MADAY. Feel free to comment at any time. Or just watch. Okay, so now I'm working on my darkest area here. And what I'm going to do, just to give you guys a sense, more of a sense of how this is going to look, I'll go ahead and pop on my color, my dark color on all of them. And you'll be able to see now how cool that's going to look. Okay, so there's my dark. Now, my light, I'm going to bring in my light here. So these are my little, my whiter areas. And notice the spot now that's left in between here. Again, color very gently. Don't jam your pencils into the paper. Absolutely no need to do that, guys. Let your color, your pencil do the work for you. Okay. Sharp point here. Now I'm going to do my mediums. Zoom in. And you can see now how we're getting a beautiful, beautiful color set here. Now, if you don't like that more orangey color as your light color, that's fine. Go to a red, a more red. Okay. And then I'll go ahead and brush this off. and just smooth out everything. A little bit of a finger touch, just one little swipe. Nothing big. And then I'm going to take my Arteza White gel pen, zoom in, and I'm going to go ahead and swipe in just a little bit of color, white color here, on top of the orange. Not much, just a little bit, and then tap it. And look how cool that looks, guys. And you don't necessarily have to do a shine line. You can just go ahead and tap in your white on your lightest spot. Up to you. Zoom out. Now I got a little more white, went too low on that, so I'm just going to go ahead and take my handy dandy X-Acto knife and I'm going to scrape off that little tail. There we go. Oh, much better. And this guy looks a little rough. Smooth that out. There you go. And I think what I'm going to do here is I'll go ahead and just still add, this one's in the dark completely, but I'm just going to go ahead and add a little shine line on that too. I think that's going to look better. So let's take a look now. Zoom out. Questions, comments? Now you know I'm going to do one more touch, right? So I'm going to use my Arteza Storm Gray. You know I'm all into detail and dimension and looking really cool. Zoom in. Zoom in. Zoom in. I'm going to take my Storm Gray and I'm going to add just a little bit of shading near my bumpy. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Don't need much. You don't need to jam your pencil. No pressure. And I really hope that you guys can see the difference that this makes. Let me pull out and show you. Zoom out. Zoom out. Is that not gorgeous? Zoom out. Do you see how the difference it makes right here in this cluster? Where I put the little, just a little touch dark, guys. And this cluster looks way more dimensional than these guys do. Alright, so let's go ahead and finish that. Couple swipes on there. more than a couple swipes, but you get the idea. Okay, see how that's progressing now and looking much better than our top 3. That's what I want you to see, guys. Zoom in. And look at the difference now between all these other ones and this one little guy at the top where I don't have the shading. Absolutely gorgeous. Zoom out. Zoom out. Look how rich that looks now. Zoom out. Questions, comments? I think we're in really good shape. This is just coming up beautifully, I think. Rhonda said she just finished berries for her fantasy pumpkin / mouse picture. Good. All right, guys. Show's over. I hope you learned something tonight. I hope you learned something new. Roberta, welcome. I'm glad you could join us tonight. And again, welcome to all my lurkers who don't come into the room, but who watch. I'm sorry, they come in but don't chat. All right. All right, guys. Love you guys. I really hope you're enjoying this picture as much as I am. I'm having a kick doing it. Really getting a kick out of it. We'll be adding some more color when we get the greenery done on this side, and then of course Anne said she's looking for a picture that has clouds in it. Cool. And then I'll be working on the bottom. Hi, Dorothy. All right, guys. Love you. I hope, like I said, I hope you learned something. I hope you had fun. Guys, joyous, joyous coloring. I'm having too much fun with this. Let me pull out my other picture I worked on earlier. For those of you that were running a little late, zoom out, zoom out. So we're getting some more done on our truck. I showed you how to do the clouds by removing the lines that the author has put in. Anne said she's looking for something now that has clouds in it so she can do the same. I love it. Be sure to post it so we can see. All right, guys. Calling it an evening. Hope you had fun. And don't forget, I broadcast from 7 p.m. Central Standard Time to 10 p.m. Central Standard Time. And it is a little after 10 now, right now. All right, guys. You take care. Love you guys. Be kind to each other. You guys are the best. You really are. And I hope you learned something. Take care. Bye.